Welcome to Dr. Tarazi's Math Site. This video is one of a series covering the 2024 released Ohio State math questions. Recommendation.
To make the most of these videos, it is recommended to pause the video when you see this button, solve the problem, and then resume the video to check your answer.
Hello and welcome. A restaurant surveyed its customers by asking them to rate their dining experience on a scale of 1 to 10. The results for all 200 participants are shown in the histogram and the table. Which statement justifies why the median is greater than the mean for the data? Why the median is more than the mean for this data? Now, when you have a skewed result like this, this will impact more the mean than the median. For example, if you have, say, 1, 8, and 9, the median is 8. And the mean, 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 9 is 18, divided by 3 is 6, because of this being an outlier. So if I take now 7, 8, and 9, now the median here is still 8, and the mean is 7 plus 8 plus 9 divided by 3 would be 8. See, then this here being an outlier caused the mean to be smaller than the median, which is the median is greater than the mean. Why? Now, I'm just putting this for you here because I have a video about the mean, median, and mode and range, and I recommend that you watch this video. That will help you quite a bit. So the answer here is outlier affect more the mean than the median, and that would be the answer, is the data are skewed. There is a large standard deviation that has nothing to do with this. There are that gap here that has nothing to do with this. The distribution is roughly symmetrical. That's not symmetrical, so that's not even a good answer either. David has 30 coins that total $4.80. All of his coins are dimes and quarters. Select all of the equations that model David's coin. So again, we have 30 coins total, 30 coins valued at $4.80, dimes and quarters. Select all. When they say all, you expect to have more than one answer, Again, you can pause, solve, and come back. Solution. A dime is what? Is 10 cents, 0.10. A quarter is 0.25. Now, if you look at the options given here, the number of dimes plus the number of quarters are 30. Yes, that's because I have 30 total coins. So that's a good answer. The number of dimes plus the number of quarter is equal to $4.80? Of course not. If I multiply the number of dimes by 0.10, the number of quarters by 0.25, do I get 4.80? No, that's not good either. Here, 0.25 times the dimes plus 0.10 times the quarter is equal to 30. That's also unacceptable. Here, 0.10 times dimes plus 0.25 times quarters is equal to 4.80. The answer is yes. This one here is flipped. See, they've multiplied the dimes by 0.25 and the quarters by 0.10, so that doesn't work. Okay? The first 4 terms of a sequence are given. The patterns of the sequence continues in the same manner. John Tay creates a function f to calculate the x term of the sequence where f1 is 7. Now this is crucial. This is very important. The starting point is very important. And it says, which functions did John Tay create? Which function did he create? Solution. If I look at this here, I need f1 to be 7. If I put 1 here, do I get 7? I don't. I get 4. So his function has to be x fx. When it's 1, it should give you 7. When it's 2, it should give you 11. 3, it should give you 15. 4, it should give you 19, and so on, okay? Now, if I look at this one, if I replace x by 1, I get 4. I don't get 7. So that's not a good answer, because f of 1 here is 4. It's not good. What is f of 1 here? Is 5, because 1 plus 4 is 5. It's not good. Here, what is f of 1? Is 7. Check it at 2 now. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 18. Check it at 3. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3, 15. Okay, so that works. This one obviously doesn't work. When you put x is 1 here, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, so that doesn't work. Okay? An equation is given, x plus 3 equals 13.5 plus 1/4 of x. What value of x makes the equation true? Okay? I'm writing this down here. I don't know about you, but you know, I really don't like those fractions here. So let's turn this first into an improper fraction. So how do you do that? 2 times 13, 26 plus 1, 27 over 2. Still this 1 over 4, 27 over 2, all these kind of, I don't like them. I'm going to multiply every term by 4. Why? This way I can get rid of this denominator, and I can get of this as well. Turn them into whole numbers. So 4 times x, 4 times 3, 4 times 27 over 2, 4 times 1 over 4. So now, see, this is simplify. So what you get here is, trying to find this cursor, okay, here we go. 4x plus 12 equals, see, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 27 is 54 plus x. Now we need to move this x to the other side. Remember, when you are solving an equation, the variable must be on one side and the constant must be on the other side. Don't do 2 operations at the same time. Let's do one at a time. So I'm subtracting x this way. This will cancel, right? So what do I get? I get 4x minus x, 3x plus 12 equals to 54. Now I need to isolate. I need this by itself, okay? So I have to get rid of this 12. I subtract 12 from both sides. What happened? This cancels, okay? So now you have 3x. 3x is equal to 42. Then what you do now, you divide by 3. And you get x is equal to 14. Okay, that's the easiest way of doing it. You can do it this way and keep fractions like that. So here is x, that's the original one. So if I subtract 3 from this here, I get 10.5 plus 1 over 4x. X minus 1 over 4x is 3 over 4x equal to 10.5. And then you do the division, you get x is equal to 14. You see you're dealing with fraction here is a little bit more tricky. The graph of a function is shown. Select a sign for each box to show the domain of the function. The domain of the functions is where x is varying from what value to what value. X, see, this is your x. X is starting at this point here, which is -4, and it's ending up at this point here, which is 5. But look, they close this, which means the 5 is included. Here, this is open, which means the 4 is not included. So now you get the domain. It should be, the x of the domain should be greater than -4 because of this being open, and less or equal to 5, this point here. Okay. 5. All right, that's it. That's the domain. It's from here to here. But this point is not included. This point is included. A survey of 680 households asked about cable television and video streaming service subscriptions. Okay, so we have 680 total, okay? 540 households have a video streaming service. 80% of the total have cable television. Of the household with no cable television, 7 times as many have a streaming service as have no video streaming service. Complete the two-way frequency table to summarize the data from the survey. Okay, so they were nice enough to fill up these two points for you here. Okay, this one is the total, and this one here is the household that have streaming service. Okay, so now I have to fill up all of this. This one is easy to do because that this plus this should be 680, right? So I can start up filling up with this here. That's 140. That's 680 minus 540. So I got this one taken care of. Now next. Next, I have to read this. 80% of the total household have cable television. So 80%, that's 0.80, right? Times 680 is 544. They have cable television. Total, 544. So I have this number now is done. Now I can find this number, right? Because I subtract these two. I get 136, put it here. Well, we're not done yet. So now here's the trick. He said that of the household with no cable television, 7 times as many have a streaming service as have no video streaming service. So if I call this x, this will be 7x. So 7x plus x should be 136. X plus 7x is 136, which means 8x is 136. Divide by 8, you get x is 17. So x is 17, so 7x is 119. I have 17 and 119. Now it's easy to find this and this because you subtract 540 minus this, you give you this number. 140 minus 17, you get this number. 540 minus 119 is 421. And 140 minus 17 is 123. Yeah, this is very interesting question. What is the x-intercept of the function fx equals 3x minus 7.5? The x-intercept, meaning where the function is crossing the x-axis, okay? Okay, so let's see, call it y here. Y is equal to 3x minus 7.5. So you want y to be 0 because you're crossing the x-axis. That means y is 0. Y is 0. 0 is equal to 3x minus 7.5. Now you can add 7.5 to both sides. You're now in Algebra 1. You should be able to do that easily. So you get 3x equals 7.5. You divide by 3, and you get x is equal to 2.5. Okay? So remember, when you have a function that is crossing the x-axis, x-intercept here, when y is 0, when y is 0. The populations in hundreds of koalas at a nature reserve T years since the beginning of 2011 can be modeled by the expression. See, in hundreds, that's important, in hundreds, okay? In hundreds. The populations of koala at the beginning of 2011 was, we need to fill up this, They give you these options. And the growing and is growing by a rate of, we need to look at one of these rates here. Now, when you look at this equation here, at the beginning, t is 0. So when you put t is 0, this will be 1. So that's 1.86. But we're talking about hundreds, so you times it by 100, you get 186. And this is 1.09. That 0.9 is really 9% is the growing rate, is 9%. That's it. Okay, this here, Taylor has already read part of a long book. She is trying to finish the book by reading the same number of pages each night, the same number each night. The number of pages that Taylor has read, Y, after X nights, that's a number of nights, okay, of reading can be modeled by this given equation. What does the 35 represent in the equation? So what does 125 represent? That's the first part that she read. She has already read 125, and now she started trying to finish book by reading the same number of pages each night. So the number of pages Taylor reads each night, obviously, is the answer. Is this the total number of pages Taylor has read in X nights of reading? Of course not. I didn't mark this here. Okay? So that's your answer right there. You can look at the other options. You see they're impossible. They're impossible. Now, this year, there were 2 questions on this topic, okay? 2 questions on this topic. And I have a video about box and whisker plots. I recommend that you watch that video first, or whenever you have time. So here they listed the mean, the median, the mode, minimum, maximum, first quartile, third quartile. Which box plot represent the data? You're not really interested in the mean. Look at the median. 77.5. Median is this in the middle right there. That looks pretty much as a candidate for a good answer. We go back to it. This one is less than 70, so you cross this. That's not 77.5, so you cross this. This one is a candidate because that's pretty much 77.5. This one also is a candidate as an answer. Now we have to look for something else. If I look at the minimum, okay, you can look at other options. If I look at the minimum, this is about 32. That's a good candidate. This is a good candidate. This one is not a good candidate, right? That there's a 0 is a minimum here. So maybe I took something else here. So maybe I took here the mode. No, not the mode. I took the mean, minimum, maximum 103. What did I took? Why did I cancel this? Oh, that's 50. Yes. See, the minimum here is 32. This is 50, so that's not a good option. This one is a possible option, and this one is not a good option either, right? Now I'm left only with this. Let's check now. Let's check. The minimum of 32. That's good. First quartile is 51. Pretty much it. Third quartile is 89. Pretty much it. The median is 77.5. Yeah, that's a good answer. Okay. A system of equations is shown on the graph. What is the solution of the system of equation? The solution is where these 2 lines are crossing, which is this point right there. Okay, that's the point you are looking for. Okay, and then what's this point here? X is 5, Y is 3. See, a question like that is, I call it a piece of cake. Don't miss it. Okay? Don't miss it. That's very easy question. Okay. So let's go back. What's the x-intercept of this line is this point right here. The x-intercept of this line is this point here, okay? Now, which situations represent exponential growth or decay? Which one of these? The population of a town grows by 3% each year. That is the answer. That is the answer. Exponential. Look at this here. The population of a town grows by 200 each year. That's a linear growth. That's not exponential. That doesn't work. The population of a town grows by 3% one year, then decreases by 3% the next year. So it's going up and down. So that's not a growth, okay? The population of a town grows by 200 one year, then decreases by 200 the next year. It doesn't work either, okay? So up and down doesn't work. An expression is given, create an equivalent expression using the fewest terms possible, which means you need to combine the like terms, right? So first of all, these parentheses are not needed. Let's get rid of the parentheses. So since this is plus, nothing changes here. No signs will change. So now 3x squared, it's going to combine with negative 2x squared, and 3 is going to combine by 7. You get x squared plus 10. Again, that's a question is given, is piece of cake. An expression is given x squared minus 121. The expression can be written in the form x plus a, x plus b. What are the values of a and b? 121 is actually 11 squared. So your expression is x squared minus 11 squared. And the formula would say x minus 11 times x plus 11. So 11 and minus 11. 11 and minus 11, okay? Remember, a squared minus b squared is equal to a minus b times a plus b, okay? Don't forget this formula. 9 minus 11 and plus 11, or plus 11 minus 11, the same thing. A system of equation is given. What is the one solution to the system? Okay, so let's put this system here. Okay, y is this, and y, the same y is this. So you just equate these two, okay? So you have x squared plus 6 equal 8x minus 10. Now let's move everything to one side of the equality here. You get x minus 8x plus 16 is equal to 0. Now you look at two numbers, you times them, you get 16, and you add them, you get negative 8. That's negative 4 and negative 4. So x is 4. Okay, x is 4. How do you find y? You use one of these equations, okay? If you use this, you get 16 plus 6 is 22. If you use this, 32 minus 10 is 32, is 22. So 4 and 22. A rectangle has a length of k plus 2 inches and a width of k minus 2 inches. Create an equation that can be used to find the area in square inches of a rectangle in terms of k. So how do you find the area? Is length times width, right? So you're multiplying these two. You're multiplying these two. So x plus 2, k plus 2 times k minus 2, which is k squared minus 4, okay? K squared minus 4. That's similar to the previous example. Again, box and whiskers. Very important. 2 questions last year on this topic. Very important. Mr. Cooper asked the students in his 5 classes how many pages they read in their books last week. He creates box plots with the data. The box plot for class 5 is shown. That's it. Which class's box plot has an interquartile range that is equal to the classes 5's interquartile range? So I'm interested into the interquartile range. What is the interquartile range? Is the 3rd quartile, minus the first quartile. This minus this. This piece here minus this piece here. This one is 40, right? This one is 20. 40 minus 20 is 20. So you're looking at one of these here that has an interquartile of 20. So let's see. Does this have interquartile of 20? That's 30 minus 5. That's not 20. This one here is 50 minus 25. That's not 20. This one here is 25 minus 5. 25. Oh, no, sorry. 25 minus 15. Huh? 25 minus 15. It doesn't work. This one here is good because that's 50 minus 30. 50 minus 30. Okay, so be careful about this topic. You need to really master 2 questions on this topic. What is the one solution of the equation? Okay, so let's put the equation here. So A is 1, B is 3.5, and C is negative 2. A is 1, that's 1 here. B is 3.5, and C is negative 2. So let's use the quadratic equation. Okay, so you have x is negative b plus or negative square root of b squared minus 4ac. Replace all these values, follow all these steps, and you find x to be negative 4 or x is equal to 0.5. Okay, so I recommend that you do it on your own and find these answers. This is an interesting question. A diver dives into a pool from a springboard. The graph shows the height of the diver in feet above the water x seconds after the diver leaves the springboard. So he was here and he jumps up and goes down, jumps up and go down. Select a phrase or number or enter a number in each blank box to complete the sentence. The y-intercept indicates that the height of what? Y-intercept is this one here. Okay, this is x-intercept. Y-intercept 4. So that's where the what was. He was standing here on what? Choices are given to you right here. The water, springboard, the diver above the water, 1.31. So that's a springboard. Okay, so that's a springboard. Now, is how many feet? 4. The maximum height above the springboard that the diver attains is what? What is this? The maximum height from the water is 9, right? Is 9. But he was at 4 height, that would be 5. After reaching the peak of the dive, it takes the diver how many seconds to get down to the water? So from this point here to this point here is not really very clear, but the best answer will be 0.75. The average price each year of an airline ticket from 2010 to 2018 is shown in the table. He's telling you the linear correlation coefficients of the data R is negative 0.713. So they have a trend to what? To decrease, right? To decrease. Which statement best interpret the linear correlations coefficient R for the data? Airline tickets price are likely to decrease as time goes on. Yes. Yes. If you look at the other option, the average airline tickets price decreases by no. The average airline tickets price decreases by this each year, no. Airline tickets prices are guaranteed to decrease as time goes on, no. There's no guarantee, but there's a possibility, it's likely that it will decrease because that's a negative correlation. So it's going down like that, okay? Thank you, and see you soon.
Thank you for watching. More videos to come.